Grab your scrap fabric pile, your favorite cup of tea, and let's start a brand new project together. Welcome back to the channel, or if you're new here, welcome. I'm Jackie and I love using scrap fabric to use in quilt blocks, Quilt-As-You-Go blocks, and other fun scrap fabric projects. In today's video, we're starting something really fun. It's a 30-day scrap fabric quilt challenge. For each day, a prompt will be provided to help you generate ideas for your scrap fabric quilt block. Anything goes. And of course, I've got a free prompt sheet for you to download. The link to that prompt sheet will be in the description box below. I'm going to be making my blocks 12-inch square, but you can make yours any size you'd like. We will be making these Quilt-As-You-Go. And on the last day of our challenge, we'll complete the final block and assemble our quilt in a Quilt-As-You-Go fashion. Today we're starting with block 1, squares only, just squares, any size, any color, whatever you have in your pile. And remember, no rules, no perfection. Let's get started. Let's go over the materials you're going to need for the project today. As stated on the prompts, any squares, any color, whatever you want to use. And again, like I said, I'll be making 12-inch squares. So I cut a piece of backing fabric that is 12.5 inches so I can trim it up later. This is just scrap. I may have to pick up another piece. It looks like this one's stained. We'll see if I can get that out. And then I have a piece of batting, 12.5 inches. For my square block, I cut out two 6.5-inch pieces of squares. I have 9 2.5 pieces of fabric and 4 3.5-inch squares. And I'll show you how we're going to put those together in just a moment. But you can do whatever you want. It's just a square challenge. To make things easier for me, I am using my Stripology Squared Mini. It makes it really easy. If I need to make 2.5-inch cuts, I can just slice right through that with my rotary cutter. Put it right in the 2.5 and go up. I just love this ruler. I use it all the time, as you can tell on here. What I like about this is you can also do 1/4-inch measurements as well. But that's the Stripology Squared Mini. But you can use any ruler to cut your squares. You can use your scissors. That would be perfectly fine. You'll need your sewing machine and thread. Again, the rotary cutter, and an iron and an ironing surface. How I'm going to lay mine out, I'm putting this in this corner, this square here. Let's move this out of the way. And then I thought what I would do is make a 4-patch up here in this corner. And then a 9-patch here in this corner. So essentially, we have a 4-patch because this is a mini block, a mini block, a mini block, and a mini block. How fun is that? So the first thing I need to do is sew my 3.5-inch squares together. So I'm just simply going to go to the sewing machine, 1/4-inch seam allowance, and 1/4-inch seam allowance, just like that. They will be connected. And then I will simply combine the rows. I'll do that and I'll be right back. There we go. How fun is that? Next, in the same fashion, I'm just going to take this fabric and connect it 1/4 inch seam allowance, 1/4 inch seam allowance. Once I have these 3 rows done, I'll connect the rows by flipping them over. And I'm going to do some chain piecing where I'll take these 2, these 2, and these 2 and run them through. And I'm not even worried about how it comes out on the other end. They could be mismatched. That's perfectly fine. We just want to use up our scraps and it'll make a beautiful quilt no matter what. I'll be right back. I wanted to show you, I'm back from chain piecing and they come out like this. I don't even bother cutting those yet. I just grab these and I'm putting this one on, then I'll put this one on and this one on so that it goes just like that. And they come out like this and I simply snip, then I snip this side, then all I have to do is press. How easy is that? I have these pressed and I just wanted to show you, I pressed this row, the seams to the center, this out and this to the center, and that's so that I can nest those seams when I go to sew them together so that we can have less bulk. Let me sew those together and I'll be right back. And now what we have is this, basically a 4-patch, all squares, and without little thought, I just knew that I had some pieces of fabric that I could cut to 6.5 here, and then I just knew I needed to make a 4-patch that was 6.5 and then a 9-patch. And of course you could switch them out like that, or you could do really busy on one side and not so much on the other. Whatever you want to do, it's completely up to you. So what I'm going to do is sew these 2 together, these 2 together, and then I'll sew the rows together and I'll be back to show you. Here I've got my backing right side down. I'm going to lay a piece of batting here. And these are cut to 12.5 because I know I'll need to trim. But look how spectacular that looks. And there's so many possibilities with the square prompt, because what you could do, see that? So pretty. You could do 2 9-patches and then 2 4-patches here. How fun is that? And all I'm going to do for quilting is some stitch in the ditch. I am going to glue base this and just swirl some small lines of glue along there. And just press out from the center. And then I'll put a little on the back. Line that up. And I'm just putting dots on the back. I will press to heat set that glue. Probably not that big of dots, but it does wash out, so we're all good, right? right, I'm going to give this a press. I didn't do any fancy quilting. I just started with stitch in the ditch, and then I just continued onto the squares, onto these 6.5 inch squares. Same way with the 9 patch, I just continued on. And then here's what the back looks like. Again, nothing fancy, but I think it's gorgeous. So let's get this trimmed up. We need 12 inch. And I've got it marked 6 here. There's a 6 on here, and hopefully you can see that. I'm lining the center of the block with this 6 on this Quilter's Rule square block lap board. I do have this linked in my Amazon storefront if you're interested. But let's go ahead and put that on the 6. And get this trimmed up. If it's off a little bit, it's okay. It's Quilt-As-You-Go. And we'll be able to hide those seams later on. And then we'll trim up here. I'm turning this completely around and getting my 12 on there. I might be able to fix this area here. Let's get this side trimmed and the top. And if I pull this back around and put this on the 12, yes. I'm just off a little bit on my 6 here, and that's fine. We are not worried about that. But these quilt blocks just look amazing once everything is trimmed up, right? Look at that. So that's what I came up with for this square prompt. I would love to see what you guys come up with. If you want to email your photos to junkgal63@gmail.com. I will feature them on the videos in our prompt series. I'll only use your first names for those, so you don't have to worry about that. But check this out. Our first block for day 1, the square prompt. I hope you'll go and download the prompt sheet so that we can have fun with this. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a Bible verse and a final thought to encourage you. The Bible verse today is from Psalm 91:4. He shall cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you shall take refuge. His truth shall be your shield and buckler. There's something deeply comforting about knowing that God's love is our covering, much like the quilts we make, stitched with care and purpose. As you piece your fabric together today, may each seam remind you of the steady protection and warmth found in His presence. Take refuge there and let peace guide your creativity. Thank you so much for watching, sharing, and commenting. I really cannot thank you all enough. It truly means the world to me. And until the next video, God bless you.